there was a little bit of doubt over the last couple weeks. Oh, could someone else jump in? Could the Chiefs jump in? Somebody else? Your reaction to A.J. Brown going to the Pets?
I think we all kind of saw this happening. I was kind of skeptical after the news of Myles Garrett being traded to the Rams. I'm like, man, will the 49ers try to jump in there and have a knee-jerk reaction based on that, them being in the same division? But this is, I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm excited because now the Patriots get a bona fide number one receiver. A.J. Brown, he's going to be out of the situation that he was in. He obviously wants to be with a quarterback that can push the ball down the field. He can be featured. He can be the guy. It'll be interesting to see what the Eagles look like without A.J. Brown, because he was a key contributor to who they were and how they were able to unlock that offense, and Jalen Hurts.
I really want to know what this is going to mean for Jalen Hurts. Like, I think a lot of us on the Patriots, we have almost been, the Patriots' whole offseason, they assumed this was happening because, hey, you know what? The power of a handshake. Handshake deals. Handshakes are back. And so they knew they didn't need
Jerry Jones.
Right. Yeah, right. They knew they didn't need to draft a receiver high. They knew they were confident they were getting A.J. Brown. I am curious what you guys think this means for Jalen Hurts. Addition by subtraction or just flat out subtraction?
I mean, look, A.J. Brown is a phenomenal receiver. There's no question about that. But, I mean, I'm curious, too, to see what it looks like. But I do think it's going to be, it's probably a relief for Jalen Hurts that you just don't have this guy that's going to be constantly in your ear, demanding the football, on the sidelines, demanding the football, a constant distraction. They got Devontae Smith, who moves into the number one. The draft pick, they got a receiver who looks like he'll be good. So I still think they've got a strong receiving core, and I expect Saquon Barkley, who's kind of been great one year, mediocre the next, throughout his career, to come back with a bounce-back year. So I think Jalen will be fine without A.J., and I think for the Patriots, I'm not sitting here saying they're the team to beat in the AFC, but I think they're going to be right there contending again.
I mean, I think it's on the board that 2028 first-round pick is used to draft Jalen Hurts' replacement. I think that's obviously in play. There's no guaranteed money, right, for Jalen Hurts after this upcoming season. There was that report that came out right at the end of the season. There's a ton of pressure on Jalen Hurts. I think Devontae Smith is a legitimate number one, and then every move they did around it is at least somewhat of a flyer. Yeah. Hollywood Brown, injuries, Dontavian Wicks, a incomplete wide receiver. Mekhi Lemon, everybody likes him, but he's a rookie, so who knows? So they are going to say, all right, let's see what you can do.
All right, let's take a moment to assess what you're truly capable of producing. Honestly, I don't know, maybe go out and claim a Super Bowl victory. I'll absolutely be dedicating a standalone episode to that subject. I won't be covering that here, not right now. We're going to set that aside for its own discussion. Because the reason we're gathered today is to analyze the transaction itself, not to speculate on who the Eagles might select in 2028 to succeed Jalen Hurts. So, it's genuinely amusing to me, because I still find it hilarious, every single remark I received on one of my earlier Eagles videos, the one centered on A.J. Brown getting dealt. You know the narrative. I really don't think Philadelphia can land a first-round selection given the emotional baggage A.J. might carry with him. The core of my position stands, what you're asserting is accurate, and the Eagles front office knew it as well. They misjudged the situation. They won't receive the compensation they originally anticipated. Well, they did. In fact, they secured even more. So, A.J. Brown commanded a first-round pick when he departed Tennessee at his absolute peak, and he remains worth a first-rounder even after knee issues and supposedly being past his prime. That's pure fantasy. Again, this particular response ranks among my all-time favorites, because the logic runs, if A.J. Brown is no longer in his prime and isn't elite, then why is Jalen Hurts absorbing all the criticism? But calling it fantasy is in. Accurate, the Eagles walked away with a first-round pick and additional compensation. Understood. A Patriots fan checking in. This individual was quite courteous. They said, I wouldn't surrender a first-rounder for him. Outstanding player, but he's on the older side and has a history of physical setbacks. Well, the Eagles went ahead and did exactly that. And then, oh yes, this was the gem. My friend Julian, fiercely defending his stance that Philadelphia held every single bargaining chip, no matter the cost. And my response was, laugh out loud, absolutely not. No requirement for defensive posturing when your predictions are on the money. He replies, bro, you're contradicting yourself and none of this adds up. I believe I was perfectly coherent, because I stated that the Eagles possessed all the leverage, and then they exercised that leverage to acquire a first-round and a fifth-round pick for A.J. Brown. So if that doesn't define leverage, then honestly, I'm not sure what does. Especially for a wide receiver with an injury history, supposedly beyond his peak, and allegedly not deserving of a first-round pick. Do you follow my logic? I honestly can't tell anymore. This next person, who actually let me use their comment in a video about the Bills, was exceedingly polite, consistently respectful, and I wanted to acknowledge them publicly because they wrote, agreed, they hold all the power. I can't imagine any team refusing to part with a first-round pick. Baltimore was prepared to offer 2 first-rounders earlier in that matching situation. So yes, you were correct. You missed the mark on your Josh Allen comment, but you nailed this one. I respect that. And I do respect that in return. Oh, and this was another outstanding comment. Am I the only Eagles supporter who can't stand listening to this guy talk? I have no idea. I don't think that individual is particularly fond of me. He wasn't exactly thrilled with my analysis of the A.J. Brown situation. But this next one, this was probably the finest of the bunch. He truly despised my take on the Eagles and A.J. Brown. Whenever I start to think that maybe a YouTube channel isn't for me, I encounter someone like you, someone who essentially plastered their face onto a television program and throws in a remark every now and then. Truly lazy content, but whatever suits you, friend. Yes, I believe it's safe to conclude that he's an enthusiast of my work and my methodology. So. Yeah. I mean. It's simply this. I am fully convinced that this move will improve the team by removing a piece. And that's precisely why I want to produce a separate video exploring the whole notion of finding Jalen Hurts' eventual successor. We'll address that in another episode. But again, I just found the endless back and forth so ridiculous. Oh, they won't pull it off. They can't flip A.J. Brown for a first-round pick. And nobody could seem to make up their collective mind. Is he an elite wide receiver or isn't he? If he's not Eli, then you should extend some leniency to Jalen Hurts. If he is elite, then why wouldn't the Eagles hold all the power? The whole thing was simply absurd. Completely absurd. And then there's the excitement about what Drake May will accomplish with A.J. Brown. I'm sure he'll enjoy plenty of success. And that's what will be so entertaining to witness. Because, of course, he'll put up statistical production. Of course, barring injury, he'll likely surpass 1,000 receiving yards and accumulate a bunch of touchdowns and deliver some thrilling highlight plays. Of course A.J. Brown will do all that. Just like Tyreek Hill went to Miami and was on pace to break 2,000 yards and a mountain of touchdowns, right? Yet no one used that as evidence that Patrick Mahomes isn't elite. No one held that against him. Not at all. Not even a little. And the irony is delicious, because we overlay that with what Danny was saying, oh, you've got all these weapons. Go ahead, show us what you can do. We have already witnessed what Jalen Hurts can achieve with elite weapons around him. He reached multiple Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl, laughter, was an MVP finalist and a Super Bowl MVP. What do you mean, let's see what you can do? We've seen it. How about this, give Jalen Hurts a functional offense with a competent coaching staff, and then you'll witness what he can do all over again. The entire premise that everything rests on Jalen Hurts' shoulders is ridiculous. It truly, genuinely is ridiculous. See what? Oh, we're giving you every advantage. Show us your ability. Oh, let's see if you can win another 8 Super Bowls to validate your existence. What are we even discussing here, seriously? What are we talking about? None of this makes any sense. Zero. None. Absolutely zero. The discourse surrounding all of this is genuinely, deeply funny. And you know what's a shame? We hear words. Words get used. They just get overused. I overuse words myself. So this isn't me simply calling out other people. Words get worn out, and their original meaning gets diluted. And the one term that comes to mind is cringe. It's like, cringe is exactly what it sounds like. It's cringe-worthy. But we throw it around so effortlessly. Oh, this is cringe. Oh, it's so cringe. Cringe, 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 cringe. And the reality is that so many of the opinions about Jalen Hurts, the Eagles, and A.J. Brown are the very definition of cringe. The absolute definition of cringe. Picture having this entire situation unfold before you. And one of your opening takes is, the Eagles could be drafting Jalen Hurts' replacement. Now, it's funny because I floated that idea myself in, I forget which video. I've been producing a bunch of content about this recently, obviously. And it's just that I was suggesting, let's have a conversation where we examine every possible path forward, right? But that came after I had already addressed everything else. I said, because I'm always comfortable discussing any angle. I talked about benching Jalen Hurts last year. I didn't lead with that, but I said, hey, let's just have this conversation. That's the beauty of producing so many different videos rather than trying to maintain a single narrow focus. It's like, let's get lost in the details. Let's just talk it through. What would that actually look like? And I ran the entire thought experiment. I said, okay, everyone's talking about Tanner McKee. I think it was after the Chargers game. That was when everyone was shouting, bench Jalen, start Tanner McKee. And I said, alright, let's just think out loud about what that scenario would entail. If Tanner McKee were genuinely a great quarterback, one who would be an upgrade over Jalen Hurts. And we discussed it. But that was within the context of an avalanche of other takes and other conversations, right? It wasn't the opening argument. It wasn't Monday morning after, or I was at Monday Night Football, so it wasn't Tuesday morning declaring, the Eagles must bench Jalen Hurts, or whatever. That wasn't the conversation. It was, no, let's talk about all of this comprehensively. And I'm pretty sure that video actually came out on the weekend, because by then we had already covered all that other material. And I said, okay, now let's break it down. I actually did a breakdown, someone had written an article about it. And I reviewed that article. The author commented, and it was like, oh my god, I can't believe you're discussing my piece. That W. As actually pretty cool. So I'm entirely open to having all these other conversations. I'm never a fan of people who try to shut down discussions or try to strong-arm you into a specific set of allowable topics. I always find that absurd. A lot of fans try to do that. A lot of fans tried that with me last season when I was talking about Caleb Williams and the Bears. Or Chiefs fans try it all the time. But no, you're not going to dictate what can and cannot be discussed. We are allowed to have all these other conversations. So I think that's completely fair game. And now I feel like I might be stepping on the toes of my separate Jalen Hurts video, but I just think it's ridiculous that A.J. Brown gets traded and we immediately say, oh, look what they got, a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-rounder. And yeah, that 2028 pick could be Jalen Hurts' replacement. And it's like, whoa, that's the conversation we're leading with? We gave the obligatory nod, well, they've got some weapons like Quez Watkins and so on. We'll see what you do, but I think it's possible that in 2028 they're drafting Jalen Hurts' successor. My goodness. That was fast. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts has been to multiple Super Bowls. And Dak Prescott, I suppose, has 2 playoff victories. Where is his backup? I mean, where is his replacement? I don't know, man. We get twisted up in these conversations. We say, oh, A.J. Brown is going to want to play with someone who can throw the ball deep down LD. And it's like, what? I mean, in a down year, Jalen Hurts ranked 5th in the NFL in deep ball touchdowns. 5th in the entire league. And he had 900 yards. Okay, Drake May had 1,009 yards and 10 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford, supposedly the king of the deep ball, 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. A few more than Jalen Hurts had. Oh no. Oh, the horror. The tragedy. I mean, Hurts was 5th, but it was the 3rd most touchdowns because there were several ties. I think that's a clearer way to look at it. The 3rd most touchdowns. And in 2024, 7 touchdowns. So he was 8th, but that's still tied for the 4th most deep ball touchdowns. I don't even see Matthew Stafford on this list. Where is Matthew Stafford? I mean, he had Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Where is Stafford? I don't see you. Matthew. Matthew, where are you? Oh, here he is. He's 18th. I see now. I see. 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Oh, Patrick Mahomes, you're 21st. 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You would have Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown? Yeah, that's why he was topping the NFL in deep ball touchdowns. Jalen Hurts. 9 touchdowns. This past year, that was the 3rd most touchdowns in the NFL. He was ranked 6th, but again, 3rd most because the numbers went 11, 10, 9. He had 9 touchdowns. Again, it's kind of interesting. Oh, Matthew Stafford, you're all the way down here at 5. You're ranked 14th, Jared Goff, he had a pretty great team, didn't he? Yeah, I thought so. And Ben Johnson. He had Eve touchdowns. Ranked 14th, Patrick Mahomes, at the bottom. Patrick Mahomes had 1. It's so low you can't even see it. I have to do it this way, Patrick Mahomes, 1 touchdown. And only 624 yards. And then, of course, 2022, 11 touchdowns. 3rd in the NFL. And this time it's straightforward, because it's actually the 3rd most deep ball touchdown passes. So, what are we talking about here? What are we discussing? Also, where is Matthew Stafford again? Matt Stafford. Patrick Mahomes, he was ranked 20th. He only had 3 touchdowns. Interesting. Pretty interesting. Oh, here's 2021, the year Matthew Stafford won the Super Bowl. He had 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I'm just saying. Oh, and just for fun, Patrick Mahomes only had 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. In 2021, that was Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, blah blah blah. I guess he doesn't push the ball downfield. That's one thing we know about Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't throw deep. He threw for 4,000 yards, but he doesn't push the ball downfield, Patrick Mahomes, you know? That was the problem. That's why it's good to see Tyreek Hill go to Miami, because they're going to push the ball downfield, right? Definitely. Do you realize how they talk about Jalen Hurts as if he's Teddy Bridgewater, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Ryan Tannehill, Mac Jones? I mean, seriously. Look at, like he's, I just saw his name and it vanished. Where'd you go? Come back to me. Taylor Heineke. That's how they talk about Jalen Hurts. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like I said, I'll make another Jalen Hurts video. I'll try not to just repeat what I already said, because I didn't intend to go on this whole rant, but maybe I'll save that clip for a weekend. For this coming weekend. Maybe I'll make some graphics. I'll create some charts. I'll let you know what. I have a feeling, something tells me, that I'll receive some interesting comments on this video. And I can take screenshots of those comments, review them, and then dispute them. Something tells me that may happen over the next few days. And maybe I'll turn that little soundbite into a clip, and maybe I can make that guy happy. I can make sure it's not too lazy or anything like that. I've got to make sure I please everyone. I need to be a man of the people, for sure. But those are just my reflections. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you all think about the Philadelphia Eagles trading A.J. Brown? Does this help, hurt, benefit, recharge, reinvigorate, provide a spiritual reset, or represent a moral or relational failure? What direction do you want to take this conversation? Jalen Hurts it's over for him. It's yikes. Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or disagree, either way, let's start some discussions. Get into some debates. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. I forgot what I was saying. Once my outro or intro gets slightly interrupted, I'm like, wait, what do I always say? I can't just jump in midstream. So, I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for giving me a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.